Hello fellow gardeners and welcome back to Smart Garden. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of vermiculture's best-kept secrets, a revelation that's been hiding in plain sight right there in your kitchen every single morning. Those spent coffee grounds you've been tossing away. They're actually nutrient-packed gold that can transform your worm bin from ordinary to extraordinary, creating the richest, most vibrant compost your garden has ever experienced. Every day, millions of coffee lovers worldwide discard something precious without realizing its true worth. Spent coffee grounds represent one of the most overlooked resources in home gardening, yet they possess remarkable properties that can revolutionize your vermiculture system. While traditional composting methods often incorporate these grounds as an afterthought, vermiculture takes this relationship to an entirely different level, creating a symbiotic partnership that benefits both the worms and your garden in ways that might surprise you. The secret earthworms have known all along is simple yet profound. Coffee grounds offer them exactly what they need to thrive, reproduce, and produce the highest quality castings possible. These humble grounds aren't just waste material to be processed, they're actually a preferred food source that worms actively seek out when given the opportunity. Understanding why this happens requires looking deeper into the biology of these remarkable creatures, and the unique composition of coffee itself. Earthworms possess a fascinating digestive system that relies heavily on grit to function properly. Since they lack teeth entirely, these creatures swallow small particles of sand, soil, and other materials into their gizzards, where these particles act like millstones to grind their food. Coffee grounds, with their fine, slightly abrasive texture, provide ideal grit that enhances their digestive efficiency dramatically. This natural grinding action allows worms to process organic matter faster and more completely, leading to increased feeding rates and faster reproduction. Beyond physical benefits, coffee grounds deliver a powerful nutritional punch. They're surprisingly rich in nitrogen, typically containing around 2% nitrogen by weight, making them an excellent green material despite their brown appearance. This nitrogen becomes fuel for the beneficial microorganisms that colonize the worm bin, creating a thriving microbial ecosystem that pre-digests organic matter before the worms consume it. Additionally, coffee grounds contain meaningful amounts of phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, and copper, trace minerals that eventually make their way into the finished vermicompost. The microbiological aspect deserves special attention. Fresh coffee grounds teem with beneficial bacteria and fungi that survive the brewing process, and these microorganisms quickly establish themselves in the worm bin environment. These beneficial species help suppress pathogenic organisms that could harm your worms or create anaerobic conditions, essentially acting as a biological shield that keeps your bin healthy and odor-free. Worms don't just tolerate this microbial activity, they actively rely on it, consuming these microorganisms along with the partially decomposed organic matter they colonize. Success with coffee grounds hinges entirely on proper preparation and application. The single biggest mistake gardeners make is adding large quantities of grounds all at once or placing them in thick clumps. When coffee grounds compact together, they form an impermeable layer that repels water and blocks oxygen flow, creating anaerobic pockets that smell terrible and can actually harm or repel your worms. Instead, think of coffee grounds as a seasoning rather than a main course. The optimal approach involves mixing coffee grounds thoroughly with carbon-rich bedding materials before introducing them to your bin. Shredded cardboard, newspaper strips, dried leaves, or coconut coir all work beautifully for this purpose. Aim for a ratio where coffee grounds comprise no more than 10 to 20% of your total feedstock volume, with the remaining 80 to 90% consisting of these brown materials. This ratio maintains the critical carbon-to-nitrogen balance that keeps your bin ecosystem humming smoothly. Before adding grounds to your bin, check their moisture level. Completely dry grounds can form hydrophobic clumps that resist moisture absorption, while overly wet grounds turn into sludge. The ideal consistency resembles a wrung-out sponge, damp enough to feel moist, but not dripping wet. If your grounds are too dry, mist them lightly with water and let them absorb the moisture for a few minutes. If they're too wet, mix them with dry bedding to achieve the right balance. Consider establishing a preparation routine where you collect grounds throughout the week in a dedicated container, mixing them periodically with shredded paper or cardboard. This pre-mixing accomplishes two important goals. It ensures proper distribution when you add the mixture to your bin, and it allows the grounds to begin their decomposition process, making them even more appealing to your worms. Some experienced vermicomposters actually let this mixture age for a few days before feeding, giving beneficial microorganisms time to colonize the material thoroughly. The proof of coffee-enhanced vermiculture reveals itself when you harvest and apply the finished castings. Gardeners who consistently incorporate coffee grounds into their worm bins report noticeably darker, richer castings with an almost velvety texture that, just crumbles beautifully in your hands. These castings demonstrate enhanced water retention capabilities while simultaneously improving drainage, which is a seemingly contradictory achievement that really speaks to their superior structure. Plants fed with coffee-enhanced vermicompost show measurable differences in growth rates, leaf color intensity, and overall vigor. The combination of readily available nitrogen, beneficial microorganisms, and trace minerals creates, honestly, ideal conditions for robust root development and strong vegetative growth. Tomatoes develop deeper green foliage and set fruit more prolifically. Leafy greens grow larger and more tender. Flowering plants produce more abundant blooms with richer colors. The environmental and economic benefits extend well beyond your garden beds. By diverting coffee grounds from landfills where they would generate methane, a potent greenhouse gas, you're making a meaningful contribution to waste reduction. Simultaneously, you're eliminating the need to purchase commercial fertilizers and soil amendments, many of which require significant energy inputs to manufacture and transport. This closed-loop system transforms what many consider waste into one of the most valuable inputs your garden can receive. Starting your coffee-powered vermiculture journey requires nothing more than beginning to collect those grounds you're already producing. If you're not a heavy coffee drinker yourself, local coffee shops typically generate far more spent grounds than they can use and are often delighted to have someone take them away. Many establishments will even set aside grounds for regular customers who ask. Begin gradually if you're adding coffee grounds to an established worm bin, introducing small amounts mixed thoroughly with bedding, and monitoring how your worms respond. Within weeks, you'll likely notice increased worm activity and faster processing of other organic materials. For those starting a new bin, incorporate coffee grounds from the beginning, establishing this beneficial practice as part of your regular feeding routine. We want to hear about your vermiculture experiences. Have you discovered your own coffee ground techniques? Are your plants showing incredible results? Share your stories, photos, and questions in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to Smart Garden for more practical science-backed gardening wisdom that actually works. And share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to transform their kitchen waste into garden treasure. Together, we're building a community of smarter, more sustainable gardeners, one coffee ground at a time.